So today we're talking about baby and toddler shoes for healthy foot development. I did not want my baby wearing shoes before he started walking, and this is for a couple reasons. I felt like it was wasteful to spend the money on, yeah, the shoes are really cute to complete the outfit. I didn't want to spend that extra money on the shoes that are doing nothing other than looking cute. And I also wanted my baby to be barefoot for as much as possible, for the best foot health and like sensory development. And I didn't really know a whole lot about that. I just knew that it was really great for them to be barefoot for as much of the time as possible. And so it wasn't until my baby was starting to learn to walk where his feet were actually put on the ground, like in a public place or something like that, when I actually had shoes for him. So real quick, I'm gonna tell you guys what I learned kind of just before this video about baby and toddler feet. It's gonna blow your mind because it's crazy. So first of all, the bones and muscles and ligaments in baby feet, toddler feet, kid feet are not fully formed yet. So this is why we don't want very tight or badly fitting or constricting shoes on our little kids. And we want shoes that allow natural foot movements and like I said, don't constrict the feet. Those are essential features that any shoe that you put on your child should have, and this is for proper development. Now, this is the crazy part. When your child is born, when the baby is born, there are 22 partially developed bones in their feet, okay? By the time they are school age, there are 45 bones in their feet. Teeny tiny bones that are not fused together, just kind of floating around in there. And it's over the next 13 to 14 years that a lot of these bones fuse together to end up making the 26 bones that mature adults have. So let me just say that one more time. Adults have 26 bones in their feet. A toddler has 45. So imagine, or like that's school age, so it wasn't like a specified age, but you get what I'm saying. So imagine if you're trying to put the toddler's foot in a shoe that either scrunches them up or it just flat out doesn't fit properly. It's just, it ends up causing problems with gait or posture, and just the way that their foot is developing. So this is why we want to be very mindful of which shoes we're choosing. I can't say mindful without thinking of that trend now. Very mindful, very demure. So the shoes that I got my baby when he first started walking, the brand is called Starry Night Design, and that's Knight. And these are soft and handmade, and it's a small business. I loved these. I would have kept buying them. The only reason that I had to stray from this particular brand is because the traction just wasn't doing it for my child. When he got to a certain speed, he started slip sliding around in his little baby moccasins. We had 3 pairs of these. I got him the fringe moccasins for his first pair of shoes, and then He had like little sunray sandals. These are all handmade leather. And so then he had sunray sandals like for the next when he sized up, and it was a new season, and they were so cute. And if you go to, I'm gonna be posting, so if you're watching in my group, I'm gonna be posting the blog that goes with this video a little bit later. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, the link to the blog is in the description of this video, and in the blog you can see the sunray sandals. They're so cute. And then for the third pair, I ended up getting just a plain pair of loafers, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit because I wanted him to get the fringe moccasins again. I thought they were so cute, but he was the ring bearer at a wedding, and so I needed to get dress shoe looking shoes for him, and I figured he probably shouldn't be wearing like fringy moccasins down the aisle in his tuxedo. So that's why we ended up doing just the plain loafers for the last pair. And then when he was slip sliding around, so now we're entering more of the toddler phase. Well, I considered him a toddler when he started walking, really, is when he became a toddler. But anyway, so maybe it was around, I don't remember how old he was. It was cold out. So maybe he was 1.5, something like that. When I was like, okay, he needs shoes with better traction, and I didn't really know where to turn after that. The Starry Night Design was the only brand I knew of and loved so much, and so I wanted to make sure that the shoes were fitting him properly. So what I did was I took him to a shoe store that has like professionals in there that will measure his feet. And so I wanted to make sure that I knew the right size because he was squirmy, still is. So I wanted to make sure I got an accurate sizing for him. And so at this store, we ended up getting the Stride Right brand. And that's a funny story too, because his size ended up being a 7 extra wide, and so the styles were very limited, and I didn't get the style that I wanted. I had to just buy the ones they had in stock because he just needed shoes. And so we did the Stride Right, and he wore those for a while. I never really had more than one pair for him if I didn't need to, because shoes are so expensive. And so then when he sized out of the Stride Right, that's around the time when I discovered another brand called Little Love Bug. And this is another small company, and these are really great. Okay, so Stride Right, everyone loves Stride Right. Like it's a very well-known brand, and everyone thinks it's the best brand to get for kids' feet. And like they're good, they're fine, but they're not my favorite. And so I noticed that the Stride Right shoes are a little bit more constricting than these other shoe brands that I like. So I got him another pair of Stride Right when he was sizing up, and that there's kind of a long story to this, but he did end up getting 2 different pairs of shoes. And so I bought him the Stride Right at the same time when I discovered the Little Love Bug. And Little Love Bug is so nice for healthy foot development and healthy gait development and posture and just like learning to walk, because it is really great for kids to be barefoot for as much time as possible. And I think it's the same for adults too. And so Little Love Bug has something called a barefoot sole, and they call it like a 0 drop something or other because it's just a flat surface in there, and it supports the natural like gate, and there's like plenty of room in there for all of their teeny tiny bones, and it's not constricting anything, and it looks kind of funny. The toe of the shoe, I should have brought one in here so you could see, but the toe of the shoe is much wider than normal toddler shoes, and they do that on purpose because so many of these toddler shoes are like making their toes do this when the little love bug lets their toes just sit naturally, like sit where they would if they were barefoot. And so Little Love Bug is the brand that I will be buying for some time. Little Love Bug is also a small business. So the thing with this is they don't have technically a wide size. You can measure your child's foot, and you should. You can also join, they have a Facebook group, and that's a very helpful resource because you have other moms talking about which shoes they've bought and which ones are really great for wide. This is where I discovered that the low top style in Little Love Bug is really great for the wide feet, and my toddler has like extra wide feet, and the Little Love Bug shoes, the low top design or style, fits him really nicely, and I really like it. So I attempted to buy some sandals for him as well. I ended up having to send those back because the toe wasn't wide enough. The thing with them being a small business is that I did have to pay shipping to send them back. So just kind of keep that in mind. Try to double check which style and size you want to get for your child, because if you end up having to return, you do have to pay the shipping. It's like $8, but we're used to not having to do that. So just keep that in mind. So that's really all that I have for you guys today. And so if you are currently in my group, if this was helpful information to you, then I invite you to invite other moms into this group so that they can get this kind of information as well. And if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, I invite you to join my Facebook group where I share tips like this, as well as tips on how to relieve brain fog and increase energy and kind of get back to who you were before you were a mom, but you're not even, that's like a whole thing. Okay, that's a whole other video. You are a new person, so you're rediscovering yourself, and you can lose your sense of self when you become a mom. And so this is why I talk about how to kind of get back to yourself. But anyway, so that's a whole other thing, and that's just, if you would like to hear more about that, if you're already in the group, stick around. If you are not in the group yet, then join the group, and the link to the group will be in the description of the video on YouTube. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.